Hello there, Richard Jerkins with Jerkins Mortuary Services. We've got a couple of machine builds that we have built, and they're going out today to customers. And I wanted to share a video about what we do here regarding the embalming machine repair and rebuild portion of our mortuary service business, as well as how to operate the machines that we build. First and foremost, this was a Duotronic type of machine from years ago, and this was originally a Portaboy. Neither one of those or either of those now. We simply take your machine, your old housing, your tank, and we take everything out underneath. This turns into an empty shell. We clean it and we start over, installing new motor, new pump, new plumbing, new electrics, new valving, new lights, and a reconfigured, more modern type of machine. Some of the folks that get our machines have not ever used a newer machine with a visual rate of flow. One thing you may notice is that the fluid is blue. This is windshield washer antifreeze fluid that we use to store in our machines during cold weather, as well as they give you a visual, and this is what we use to test our machine here in the shop, here in the garage before it leaves. First off, you have the switches. And let me just note that no matter what you send us, the build is the same. The internal workings inside of here are the same. The gauge is the same, the valves are the same, the switches are the same, the lights the same, the plumbing, the motor, this rate of flow that we add and build that on is the same. Whether it's in a Portaboy housing, you still have the same switch. You got the red and the green lights, you have the start button, rate of flow, pressure, the outlet for the hose, and you have the visual rate of flow tower. The switch, the first thing that you notice is off, inject, and mix. On the mix feature, when we turn it on, or the inject feature, initially it doesn't come on, even though it's supposed to. When that happens, don't be alarmed. That's why there's this start button. This machine has a low tank shutoff. When this goes down to nothing, it auto shuts off. The machine automatically cuts off to save the pump from damage. In doing that, it has to maintain about 3 to 4 psi of pressure on the gauge for everything to stay running. When the tank empties out, the pressure drops and it auto shuts off. So to do that, you have this start button. When you hit the start button, the pressure comes up and the red light comes on. You can't see it incredibly well in this sunlight, but it's on. There we go. Just making sure the sunlight in the camera is not working real well. But yes, the red light is on. This adjusts your pressure. The gauge says 0 to 60, but the machine goes 0 to 50. A lot of people put the max pressure on the gauge and it simply pegs out whenever you use high pressure, and it actually damages the gauge over time and the gauge doesn't read correctly. So that's why the gauge goes to 60, because we didn't want the gauge pegging out and damaging the gauge. So we use a 60 PSI gauge for a 50 PSI pump. Now right now it's on mix. Everything is circulating through, and you can, the more you lower the pressure, the more it flows. When you go to inject, you then adjust your pressure. But what you see here is that you have a rate of flow and you have a sight glass where you can visually see the rate of flow. This parallels kind of the new Dodge machine. It parallels the Duotronic machines. It parallels some of the European machines that are out there. In this country, we use the left side of the gauge, which GPM is gallons per minute. These numbers may not mean a lot to you, but what you do is you associate this number with what you see as far as what the rate of flow coming out of your cannula is. If you're new to the rate of flow, You simply adjust it by what you're used to on the side of the flow, and then you get used to that. A good starting place is about 15 psi, and you put this flat at, with your adjustment here, you put the top of that at about 0.2 or halfway, which is 0.25, and that is 0.25 gallons per minute. And what that means is you're injecting about a quart per minute. 0.25 gallons is a quart. So that puts you putting a gallon in over the course of 4 minutes. That's a good average steady flow rate. You start with about 15, maybe to 20. You balance your pressure knob with your rate of flow. That's a little high, so you then back this down, and you notice when you back down that coordinates, and you readjust, and you get a balance of the two knobs. I say you get a balance of the two knobs because every single body you inject is different concerning resistance. When you, and I don't have a cannula here, I don't have a deceased here, but when you put the cannula in the artery and you turn this machine on, the machine detects resistance. And so you may have to reset your pressure and reset your rate of flow. You adjust this per case. Now, I've had these machines be mailed out, and the customer gets them and they said, it won't come up to 50. You told me it's a 50 PSI. It won't come up to 50. No, it doesn't come all the way up to 50 until it meets the resistance of the vascular system. We actually put a valve in the line, and we put resistance in the line to kind of duplicate here in the shop setting as if you were injecting a deceased. But the nice thing that this does for you, many people don't need it to be a good embalmer. There's plenty of good embalmers that have been out there for years that have been just watching the level of the tank. But what this does, it lets you instantly detect a problem. When fluid is flowing, this is floating. When you have a problem where your cannula is plugged, or the valve in the line is plugged, or you put the cannula in between the layers of the artery, or you've put it in an artery that a little ways down has a major blockage, the first thing that's going to happen that you're going to notice is when you turn this on, is it is going to drop. It's going to drop with the machine on. And anywhere you're standing in the prep room, you can visually look at this machine and you can see, hey, is the green light on? What's my needle look like on the pressure gauge? And is the float floating? If this float is floating, you are injecting fluid. That fluid is going somewhere. It may be pouring out in a leak situation if you're doing an autopsy or a donation case. But concerning the function of the machine, when this is up, fluid is flowing. Now, some problems that we've run into. People send me the machines to rebuild. The pumps are full of deposits from the types of fluid that they've left in the machines over the years. The pressure valves are full of deposits and from the fluid that's been left in the machines over the years. One thing I need to stress to you, rinse the tank out, do a full tank after the embalming. 1 full tank at a minimum, 2 would be great, but 1 at a minimum concerning your time schedule. Flush this thing out with water so deposits don't build up in the pump, deposits don't build up in the valves. We use stainless and the pumps are made of brass. They are chemical resistant, but in doing that, it'd really be best if you used hot water. What happens is we ship the machine out. People then put their hose, their valve, and their cannula on the new machine, and then they call me and they say, the pressure's going up and down. The rate of flow is going up and down. And that's because they have a bad valve in the line at the cannula. The stopcock is bad. They have a bad stopcock. It's full of buildup over the years, just like the machine was. It may have been sterilized and that stuff's cooked inside of it. It wasn't cleaned properly. The inside of the little valve in the stopcock is twisted off, and although you turn the valve in the on position, inside it is partially closed or fully closed. And then they say, hey, I'm getting all of this stuff is, the rate of flow won't stabilize. If the rate of flow won't stabilize, check your cannula and check the valve. This machine has a solenoid inside that when it is in the off position, nothing flows out of the hose. This machine does not gravity drain. Off is off because just inside of here, it electrically shuts off where it cannot drain from the tank in the off and the mixed position. Fluid only comes down the line in the inject position. You do not need a valve at the body to turn it off. If you do put a valve in the line at the cannula, make sure you have a hose clamp here and make sure you have a clamp on the cannula, because when you turn that valve off, this hose is going to pressure up and this gauge is going to begin building pressure, and the machine is going to do what it's designed to do. The pressure does the work, and this machine uses a lower rate of flow. Some machines use a lot of flow and a low pressure. That was Pierce's design. This machine is a balance between pressure and rate of flow. From what the Duotronics originally were, from what the original Portaboys originally were, from what Dodge has now gone to, and moreover, the results that the embalmer expects, and what the current industry has developed over the years to prove that what works for a good embalming, what pressure. A lot of the machines go up to 100 pounds now, PSI, and the rates of flow are a little higher. We keep our max at 50, and we keep a lower rate of flow. And our gauges, you know, this should not ever really peg out at the top because we've put this on there to where it won't damage it either. So I know that's a lot of information, but that's a little bit about our machine. Once again, flush the thing out. Don't use an old cannula, use a new cannula, use a new stopcock if you feel like you have to have a stopcock on the line, the valve. Flush it out with water after each use. When you get it and it's been shipped dry. We've dumped all the water out before shipping. Make sure you run it a little while and work the valves, and you'll see bubbles. Get all the air out of it. The pressure gauge will fluctuate a little bit till you get all the air out of it. Look forward to building a machine for you. We do this at a very competitive cost. It's my family's business, myself, my son, and it's built right here in our garage in Southwest Virginia, and would love to earn your business and your trust. We feel like we build a very quality machine out of quality components. Our shipping is pretty fast. If you get one to us, we try to do the turnaround within 2 weeks, usually a week, but I'm going to say 2 weeks for the purpose of this video because sometimes parts don't arrive as they should, pumps, motors, and that kind of stuff. So if I can help you, JerkinsMortuary.com is our website. And if you bought a machine from us, thank you. If you've had us build a machine for you out of your machine, thank you. And if you have any questions, give me a message, give me a call. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye-bye.